Hello and welcome to another episode of Between Two Nerds, where if you've seen us before, you will know by now that we invite a small human being on to sit between us and have a little chat about science. This episode, our small human being is...
My name is Indi and I am 8 years old.
High five.
Hello, Indi.
Welcome, 8-year-old Indi.
And you know the nerds, I'm Mo.
And I am Eugene. Okay, Indi. Is there something you'd like to talk about? What would you like to talk about?
Evolution.
Evolution.
Oh, nice.
Okay. What do you want to know about evolution?
I really want to know how humans started.
Okay. Do you have a theory?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Tell us what you think.
So it started with apes in the trees.
Okay.
And then after that, one ape was born on the ground.
Right.
And they never learned how to climb.
Okay. I like this. Keep going.
And then when they're older, they born an ape that started to walk on 2 legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then when
That's important.
And then the next
When
ape,
they were older.
when they were
Yeah.
older, they born a ape that the ape's face was in a bit.
In a bit, yeah.
So not ape-like.
Face start, flattened face. Okay, keep going.
Not like
And then the nose
So
started
now
to
I've got
grow.
a flat-faced
like
bipedal
that.
ape. Okay, carry on.
And then its nose started to grow and its teeth started
That
to
same ape?
flatten. No,
Okay.
a different ape, the one that
He
was
had
born
another
after
ape,
this.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was an ape that had a full face shape.
Full face shape, the traditional human face shape.
Yeah, but still
Okay.
with lots and lots of hair.
I like it. Lots of hairy
good,
human.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
good. I was gonna
Yeah, keep
see
going.
what happened with that hair.
And then that ape born an ape that started to grow actual feet.
Actual feet. Okay,
Because
good.
apes have hands as feet
Yeah, no.
yeah, that is.
They have cool feet.
Yeah,
They have very, very cool
that's
feet.
actually.
for climbing.
Yeah. Keep going.
And then that ape got a human shape, and then the next ape got a human shape fully.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But still hairy.
Yeah, still very
Still
hairy.
hairy human.
And then the
There's still
next
some
ape
hairy
started
humans.
to have parts of its body, like its face and sometimes on its feet, where it did not have hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bald feet.
And then it started, and then the next ape started to get less hair.
Okay.
Yeah, less hair on
hair.
its
So
body.
gradually going bolder.
Okay.
And then the
Till you
next
get
ape,
to me.
Yeah.
and then,
Pinnacle of human
and then
evolution.
the next ape was basically like a caveman.
Right. Okay.
And then
So
that,
lived in a cave.
yeah,
And man.
and started to make clothing.
Okay.
And then the next ape made shoes.
Make sure shoemaker.
A cobbler. The cobbler.
And then the
man.
Early
next
human
ape
trade.
started to make clothes like you. Your
Clothes like me. Like
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Like the Curiosity Lab hoodie.
No, not exactly like
Similar
that.
though.
Okay,
Similar.
Okay. Hoodie.
Trousers and
Trousers.
Oh, okay, so
Maybe
not
not hoodies.
Not like a loin cloth. Not like
No.
but
Proper
more like
clothes.
shorts and trousers. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Zips
Okay.
and buttons.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Suits and jackets.
And then people and then the next these are man people now.
Right, so these are now man
Wait,
people.
what about woman people?
Women and man people.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all inclusive.
Okay.
Adults.
Adults.
Okay.
Like adult human beings.
Yeah.
And then it went to an ape that invented a language.
So the ape
English.
invented language. Okay.
Started to say hello and things.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So English then.
Yeah. And then the Ice Age came.
Ooh. Right. Okay. Thank goodness for those clothes.
But But
And
the
then
hair
they
was
started-
yeah.
Yeah, the hair's there.
So the hair on the head maybe came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep them warm.
And then the next ape, human, started to make weapons and tools.
Brilliant.
Oh,
yeah,
good,
very
yeah.
good.
And then the next ape, and then it's the golden age.
The golden age of.
I think. I
Human.
think.
You mean like Stone Age, Bronze?
Stone Age.
Okay, the golden
yeah,
age.
Golden age. I like
Golden
yours. I like that.
Um.
Where humans started loving shiny things.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That's
And
pretty
then
good. Yeah.
and then they started to build proper like buildings, like
Yeah.
wooden houses. And then keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing
Until you
that.
get
keep
to-
doing that. Oil.
Burj Khalifa. Oh,
Oil. Okay, yeah, oil.
Big step.
What
yeah.
do we do with that?
And then what do you do with oil?
Burn it mainly.
Yeah.
And then you burn oil and then next was like carriages and things and trains.
Transport.
Okay.
Very good.
And then it was cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was better cars.
Yeah.
And then it was country. Presidents and like
Okay.
leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we became sort of organised.
And then it was like World War.
Yeah. Then we became disorganised. Okay.
And then it was maybe 2 years later after World War One, the next World War.
World War
happened.
Two.
Yeah.
And
Might
then,
as well just get him out the way.
Yeah. Get them in early.
Yeah.
and then us.
Us.
Well,
okay.
and I can assure you that
Like-
us bringing this to present day, that there will be somewhere on YouTube and in a podcast, Indi's theory of human
Yeah.
evolution will be available.
Yeah.
Oh, superb. Why are you asking us?
that's a
You
great-
Clearly know it all.
Yeah. So let's fine tune that.
Slightly. Tweak.
And the first thing, though, we should say is humans didn't evolve from apes. We and the apes had a common ancestor.
Us. Like
Yeah, so the apes that we know, like chimpanzees and gorillas and orangutans and bonobos,
and monkeys.
and us have a common ancestor.
Do you know
And
what an
then they-
ancestor is? So think of it like, so
grand.
you've got granddad, and your granddad's got a granddad,
Yeah.
and your granddad's granddad's got a granddad, and your granddad's
Great
granddad's
great
granddad's.
grandpa.
Yeah.
That's
Great
another way of
great
saying
great
it.
grandpa.
And if you go great, you are going back in time.
Yeah.
And you're going way back in time. I mean, if you kept doing that, you'd end up at the dinosaurs. You'd go as far back as you like. But at some point, the apes and the humans, if you go far enough, great back in time,
And so on.
you will find a
Apes.
shared
I
ancestor.
think it's about 6 million years ago.
So 6 million grandpas ago.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to add in a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot more. So we had a common ancestor. So it's kind of like the apes are our cousins of sorts. So we didn't come
So-
from the apes, but we had, so they are, relatives. They're relatives, but we didn't come
So
from
apes are
them
like
technically.
one of the closest animals to humans.
Exactly
Yes.
what it is, yeah. So apes are, compared to all the rest, apes, the chimpanzee is possibly the
Because
closest.
if you look
of
at
those.
a chimpanzee's hand,
Yeah.
it looks basically exactly the same as ours, but hairier and black.
Yeah, and then you do get some hairy humans, so he doesn't have to.
The
so they're quite
hairiest
close.
man is literally hairy everywhere.
Like cousin It from Adam's Family. Yeah, so
Hairy
6
people.
million years ago, so we had this common ancestor, and that's where we break. So the branch. So I imagine it like a tree. So okay, so you have branches on a tree. So that's where we and the apes. If we go back 6 million years, we would actually be on the same branch from that point
So
on.
if you had a tree and branches,
Yeah.
and
So we're at one
if
tip?
so maybe one tip of that branch would be us or
Yeah.
the apes, and then maybe another part of the branch will be us or the apes.
Yeah. So apes on one, and we're humans on another tip. And you go back; those two branches will join up into a bigger branch, and
Yeah.
that would happen. What would have happened 6 million years ago? 6 million years. So that's where. So now we can start to get down the line to humans. Now
There's
first
been
species.
lots of there's some debate. So if
Yeah.
you get to 2 million years ago, there's something that we call Homo Habilis.
I'll talk about
thing.
Lucy though. Australopithecus.
Oh, Lucy,
It's about
the missing link.
Yeah. No, so there's like all these species that came before we get to even humans.
Yeah.
There are a few species of humanoid things.
Like the Homo Sapiens.
Homo sapiens are what we are now. Okay.
A bit like in your story,
Yeah.
you know, you got to the point
Yes.
where you were up on 2 feet,
There, that's Lucy, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry,
walking around.
Australopithecus.
That didn't look particularly human,
No,
but
they're like
definitely had more
they're
human
like an
traits.
ape walking.
Yeah, so it's a bit different. So you know how apes will use their arms as well to walk,
Yeah, like
and can
this.
walk on 2
Yep.
feet for a little bit of time.
That's amazing,
So
by the way.
Australopithecus
Just
was,
like
I think,
a-
one of the first ones that could actually walk on 2 feet for quite a long period of time. And would they climb? I don't know.
So it's like a
Possibly.
so it's like a
We
chicken
still
can
climb.
only fly for about 30 seconds.
13,
Exactly.
actually. 13.
What they couldn't do, what Australopithecus couldn't do, I think, was run. Running was not possible,
Like,
but walking
Now
was.
we can really run
Yeah.
yeah.
like really
Built for
fast.
it.
And then from that, so as they evolved, we get to in about so another 2 million years pass, or 1.5 million years, and you get to Homo habilis.
Homo habilis.
And
big.
where
Years ago.
And you actually talked about Homo habilis without knowing. So Homo habilis. So this is our first human. So if you have the word Homo in front of it, now you're a species. You're in the
human species.
So Homo habilis is the one you talked about. One of those making tools, right? That was Homo habilis, the first one to use to
Tools?
make stone tools.
Like a spear.
Yeah, so the spear, it would be like a stone axe. So
Yeah.
the bit on the
carved
front.
stone and a
Yes,
stick.
that's it.
It would have started with them picking up stones that already had a useful shape.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
so if you
thinking-
found a stone a bit like that, they would have used
Yeah,
it.
so
To
that
stabby.
intelligence to go, there's a rock on the floor, I could pick that rock up, and what might well be, I could stabby with that rock. Now, once they've started stabbying with the rocks that they could find, they realised, well, if I bang these rocks together, I can actually make it even more stabby. I can make it sharper. So now they're starting to create tools for specific purpose, which is nearly always food related.
Yeah.
Or shelter related on occasion, but it would be, let's go, how can I find food easier? And a sharper stabby thing is very helpful in the hunt for food. Always, the sharp
and
stabby thing.
Where are all the other species of humans now?
We will get
great
yeah.
question.
So after Homo habilis, this is still long ways away. So we're like I think it's 2
million years.
million years. And then as
There's big
Homo
debate on Homo habilis. So within science and people that study this, there's still debate as to whether that should have the Homo at the start of his name as a species
human,
that is a one of the human species.
But the one that we can definitely start from is the next big chunk, which you actually. So it's Homo erectus. And this one starts to look a lot more like us humans. So less hairy, up on 2 feet all the time. Now we're just used to it. Our face less monkey face.
They still have like different ears, like
They're not normal looking by any stretch.
If someone walked in today, right now, that was Homo erectus,
He
you were
looks odd.
definitely thinking there's something odd. There's something not quite right about that person.
and would people basically take it to jail or
Oh,
More likely a zoo.
yeah.
If I'm being completely honest.
a zoo?
Yeah, because it,
what we
it
do with
had no
animals.
language. It's an animal. It's just an animal that looks far, far more human than any animal that we know today. So you'd think it was a very human-like animal.
So this would be
Probably.
like the closest to us.
Well,
Well, the first
moving
proper
on.
human, yeah. So we say that's Homo erectus. So erect means standing upright. So now,
So
what's
it would
important
sound
is,
like this.
Yeah, and they could run as well, which
So
is
they
very
could-
important.
So they were like, but they didn't like run as much as us, or did they also run as much? Like when they were trying to hunt
Depends how much you
something,
run.
when they were trying to hunt something, did they also run?
Yeah. So
So-
now they could actually, so from Homo erectus, so they have tools, spears. Now they can chase after animals and hunt them.
I guarantee they ran more than us, or more than
more than we
you or
do.
me.
Oh, yeah, they had
Because
to.
they definitely didn't have brick walls to keep them fully sheltered.
Yeah.
There would have been wild animals all over the place.
Like saber-tooth.
They didn't have iPads. They didn't have sofas.
They didn't have phone.
telebox.
They didn't have anything electric.
And everything they needed to achieve, they had to go out and physically do.
So they couldn't just go to a restaurant and go, "Can I have this, please?" And then
No.
Yeah,
Someone at some point opened a
But I
restaurant.
think about that point is when fire was
Yeah.
tamed. So there was always fire,
Yeah.
but humans couldn't control this fire.
So
It's around that time. It was
humans,
a
like-
very important thing. So you had stone tools, which is very important. Walking upright, very important. But to be able to control fires, to start fires when you
They
wanted
also,
and control it was important.
used to shoot arrows where there was fire at the
Yeah,
end.
so that was a little bit later.
Do you know, you've seen Jungle Book, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, what's his name?
Mowgli.
Mowgli.
No, the king ape. He's an orangutan.
Louis.
King Louis. So his song is "Give me the power of." I nearly did it there, but I won't.
red
Give me the
fire.
power of
The
man's
red
red
fi-
fire
yeah.
to make my dreams come
Yeah.
true. Because that became such a differentiator.
what-
If everything's an
He
animal,
wanted to be a man with fire,
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
why would fire be important?
so he could rule the jungle because he would be able to control it.
How? But what do
What's the
other animals
advantage?
do if you bring a fire close to it?
They run away.
Oh,
Very
exactly.
good.
so
now you
he
can
could
scare-
protect himself.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So
you
he
can
can,
scare
like-
animals away. You have light. You know, the most dangerous time for a human is when you sleep, when you're out in the jungle, right?
Yeah.
In the forest, savannah. Still, right? Because that's when you're asleep, animals can sneak up on you
Yeah.
and eat. But now if you have a fireplace going, you've got light, animals will tend to stay away from that.
And it's also quite dangerous to have that because if if the fire like spreads,
Yeah.
it could burn the whole
Yeah,
forest.
that's
You
what
wanna
happens.
con-
Forest
you need to
fires and
control-
things. Yeah, so the controlling fire is important. But there's one more very important thing you do with fire.
You cook with it.
Awesome. Good job. So you can cook, but you can cook meat, right? Now this is very important.
So if
scientists
you
think.
hunted a
Yeah.
fish,
You have fish, now you can cook it. And when you cook food, you can get a lot more of that nutrition in that meat out of that food. So now you have more energy and more building blocks to evolve further.
and did they used to get really sick because they ate like raw chicken and things?
They were hardier, I would say, than us. Like, we don't do so well
We're
with
used to it.
but because we aren't, our bodies, our gut bacteria and all of that aren't used to eating that kind of stuff. But they would have been okay with it. But they possibly did things
Like get bit
they used to
sick.
have to eat it fresh, or I don't know if it's at this stage, but like putting lots of salt because salt gets bacteria can't grow on something that's like pickles, right? That's why we put it in that salty water so that bacteria doesn't spoil
Right,
it.
yeah.
So that's Homo erectus.
Yep.
Actually, now Homo erectus was the first. So this is all happening in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point. And Homo erectus started to migrate. You know what migrate means?
Like go live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
they started to move across from Africa. They would have gone into the Middle East here,
Like
right?
birds
and
migrate?
then like birds migrate, and then into Asia and into these other parts. So now you have human species living in other parts of the planet where the environments are different, so they can evolve into different species. The other humans that we're going to get to. But Homo erectus, okay, so in Africa, Homo sapien,
Yeah, which is you.
which is us,
Yeah.
200,000 years, as far as we can tell. 200,000 years ago, that's when the first human like us evolved.
So that's
But at
when
this-
you like. That's when.
was in
So,
me. Well.
Yeah, that's when I came up. 200,000 years, eh? But that's the humans like us that wouldn't look kind of strange to us now, right?
so they would walk in. We might see a bit different. Like they might act
No,
different.
They're fine. You might not be able to get much out of them, like talk to them, but they weren't great with English at that point. But 200,000 years, that's Homo sapiens. But at the same time, other places on the planet. So Homo sapiens, we think, evolved from one place in Africa called the Rift Valley, which is like on the east coast. Other places in Africa, there were other human species evolving. There's one Homo Heidelbergensis. That's one. In around the Germany area, there was this Homo Neanderthalis. Then there's a Homo florensis on the Florens Island.
Where are
But
all these
how do you think we
people?
know this?
Yeah.
Cause they have different like accent.
No.
How do we?
But how do we know? So it's
So we don't see them now. So how do we
relatable.
know
How do
that
we
they
know
live?
that these people existed? That these different what
They're
we're calling-
skeletons.
Yeah.
Very good. So we
Exactly.
find our knowledge, our understanding. It's a bit like the dinosaurs.
So they might have a different shape of skeleton.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So scientists, paleontologists generally find a new dinosaur that we've never known before through fossils, one a week on average,
Like
somewhere
I
in the
did.
world.
Yeah.
It's one a week. Yeah, on average, it's one a week.
New species of dinosaur.
Yeah.
Once every week.
One a week on average, yeah. We
Yeah.
find loads. But they're so. It's nuanced, the difference between one
Yeah,
and another.
I found one.
And
Yeah.
with human history, we have to do exactly the same thing. No one was writing it down, obviously, and that was a massive change actually to make us what we are now as we started capturing our knowledge.
Yeah.
So you can go on the internet and find anything out. When I was growing up, I could go to a library and find knowledge written down. So we captured and retained and shared our knowledge. That was a big step forward.
But
The people
Like-
we're talking about didn't write anything down and are dead. So
But
we have
why?
to find them. Why are they
Yeah.
dead?
Well,
Well,
things
one of the reasons
die.
for that, why is the woolly mammoth dead? Why is all
Like-
sorts of species
But why
dead?
didn't they must have warned other of that.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen in one generation.
Instant.
It doesn't happen overnight. So these, we're talking about Homo sapiens, been around for 200,000 years. We started this with with Homo Habilis 2 million years ago. Now you've been alive for 8 years, so it's nothing. So it takes time and time, but something wins out. So one of these species wins, and that. What do you think that was? The Homo sapiens. That's us.
Yeah.
So we've taken over the planet. We are the ruling dominant species by a long way, which meant there's no room for the other species.
Yeah. And there was a
'Cause-
time, though, when Homo sapiens lived at the same time as all these other human species. So Homo neanderthalis, so the Neanderthals, Homo florensis, all of these other human species, we have existed at the same time. It's just that they didn't deal. It's still a bit of a mystery as to why they didn't, why they went extinct and we didn't, right? But it's still a mystery as to why. But there are some theories, like we might have just killed them all.
Yeah.
Like through wars.
Have you heard of Neanderthals? Think of cavemen, effectively. Cavemen, for simple terms, cavemen were the Neanderthals, which is
They would look quite odd.
They would look they'd look different to us,
Yeah.
but they'd be very humanoid.
I know what a caveman
so
looks like.
if one walked into this room now, you just say, that's a odd-looking human. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have thought they were anything other than that. It's
So
very
they're
similar.
that's a weird one of us.
Yeah.
But on average, now it's not the same for everyone, but on average, so if I take you, you are probably 2%
Yeah.
caveman.
Oh, cool.
So your how rude.
He loves it.
So your DNA, you know what DNA is? Your genes, the instructions that make you basically. So if you're from Europe, right? You have anywhere from it's like 1 to 10%, right? 10 is like the maximum that DNA you share from Homo Neanderthal, the Neanderthals. It's not a dig at you, right? They were
He's delighted.
Yeah, they were actually stronger. Neanderthals was stronger than humans, Homo sapiens.
Why?
They were just
Built stronger.
Yeah, they were just
bigger
built
muscle
stronger.
mass.
So they
They could have been as smarter as we want to know that. But one important thing though that was happening along the way, in this 4-6 million years that we've gone back so far, was that our skull sizes and therefore our brain sizes were expanding. So we humans have the largest brain size compared to the other apes and all this other our ancestors. like a lot more. So we have larger brains. So we infer that is meaning that we got smarter.
And our brain compared to our body is much
Yeah.
bigger than every other animal. I think that's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Unless you get really small. But no, I'm sure that's true.
yeah.
How big is an elephant's brain?
I mean, it's bigger, but then its body is also big, right? So when you compare the two,
Like a velociraptor is tiny brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think something like 10% of our bodies is our head, our brain. Okay?
Velociraptor had a bigger brain than lots of the other dinosaurs, though, relative to its body.
Yeah.
So
if
there was like a dinosaur the same size, would it have like around the same size of brain?
No,
not necessarily, no.
It's also not just the size of the brain, it's the quality of the brain. So, like, I mean, just because a human being, well, one of us, has a big head doesn't mean that they're smarter, right? It's not just about size. It's also what the brain is capable of doing. So we have a more sophisticated, more complicated brain
Like
compared to
some
other
people are
animals.
better at that than maths than other people,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
that
have
kind of
like
thing.
smaller heads.
Yeah, and that could be a case, yeah. It's actually, our brains are more complicated. One of the reasons, so the animals that have the more complicated brains are things like, so us apes, humans, right? Elephants and whales and dolphins. And one key thing that we all share is that we like living in large groups. So we're very social.
So like wolves, they live in packs.
Yes, they are, but they have less less complicated social structures. So we have like, even with chimps, there's like a ruler chimp, and then they're like his second in command, and then there are the other ones, and they have like really complicated
Full on politics.
Yeah, and politics. Never mind. They're politics as well, like governments basically. So they have like complicated. So that's why our brains are. It's not just about size. Right? It's also about how good that brain is. But see, you were actually very close. So you got all of the right milestones in there. About the less hairiness, standing on 2 feet, that was very important. Especially because this all happened in Africa. Now you've seen The Lion King, right? If you look at, it's not jungle, it's savanna, right? So you got like long, tall grass, but not too tall. And it's big open fields, so it helps, rather than being down on all fours, it actually helps to be stood up, because then, now you can see the lion coming from much further away.
So if you were a zebra, you could like see a lion.
If you were a zebra,
Yeah.
you could see
A lion.
that lion. If you got up on your hind legs,
So like a horse when it goes on to
yeah, over the
2
fence.
legs.
What's going on there? Right? So that helps. Right? So that's why. But it only would work if you were evolving out of Africa.
Animals...
If you were in the jungle, does there much sense to be up on 2 feet? You can't see far, right? The trees are too thick.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't kind of work there.
And do flying animals see like a better like view?
Yeah. So
like an eagle.
Falcons and eagles, they have amazing eyesight. Even pigeons. Is it pigeons? Yeah, pigeons. Yeah, they have like great eyesight. They see landmarks. Oh, there's my house. And not actually. So when pigeons try to find their way back, they can look at like, oh, there's Burj Khalifa. My house is like, there's Burj Khalifa. So my house is just to the left.
It's over there.
Yeah, I know. I was just pointing. So we're all looking off camera, right?
Like you go like.
So you go like, oh, I live to the left of that.
That's genuinely how I got around Dubai. 6 months. Whenever we drive anywhere, it's like I have no idea how to get home.
Like, just get me on Sheikh Zayed.
So well, that was it. And I only knew that. Let's get me to the Burj Khalifa. Then I can get on to Sheikh Zayed.
Yeah,
and I can get home.
So the higher up you have a bigger, they say vantage point. So the higher up you have, the better your eyesight. And actually, us apes and humans have much better eyesight than a lot of the other mammals.
I always thought that's why the Dutch were
But
so
the
tall. The
birds-
people from Holland, Dutch people are generally much taller than most other. They're certainly much taller than your average British person. And I always assumed that it was because there's no hills. It's a big advantage. The taller you are, apparently,
it's a
completely
good,
wrong.
yeah.
Great theory. Then.
Yeah. But I think it's But that's pretty much the whole. So like dogs,
Yeah.
right? Dogs don't need to see each other to recognize each other, right? What do they do instead?
Smell.
Smell, right? So that most mammals actually rely on smell more because they're down on all fours, down on
A
the
shark has
floor.
sensors on its nose,
Yeah.
like electric.
Yeah, the
Yes,
electric.
very-
Yeah. So it can sense muscle movements in the water.
What's the other big advantage of going from 4 legs to 2 legs and 2?
You can
these?
like muscles,
No,
You
what are
wish.
these? This whole thing.
arms.
So if that was a leg,
They can pick up things.
Yeah.
yeah, if you stop using
There
them
you
to walk
go.
around, suddenly these are massively useful. Can you
'Cause,
imagine
like,
going a day without
When I'm
using your arms?
climbing,
Climbing, picking up things and chucking it at
Yeah.
other things. Then,
like in the World War,
That's
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Bit
moved
grim.
on.
to aim.
This little
Yeah, but you can just pick up a stone and hit.
That's
yeah.
stabby stone. I'll pick that stabby stone up.
And that's why
Carve
tools were invented, though, because you could use them. You had hands to use them.
Otherwise, dogs would just have
Another very important thing about humans is these things here.
thumbs.
Yeah, but it's called an opposable thumb. See, these 4 fingers can go this way, and my thumb can go in the opposite way, right? And that lets me pick up things and
Like
move
that?
them very delicately.
So otherwise, you'd have to pick up things like that.
You can actually try that. There's you can like, I saw this in the Royal Institution thing. So you can get some tape
Yeah.
and just tape that there and try to use that hand. It's
So you're like
almost
this,
useless. Yeah, and just try to use that to do things. It's
and then
just
I
so
like
much
try
tougher.
to do like pick up.
Yeah. So without that thumb being able to move that way, you can't write. But before that, you can't do finer work.
Actually, Sammy can write like this because he does. My friend Sammy.
Okay.
He only holds his pencil like that.
He writes
Yeah, yeah.
without an opposable thumb.
Yeah.
Fair
Kind
enough.
of undoing
He writes like
a few
this.
million years of evolution.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Ignore it.
Sorry, Sammy. It wasn't a dig. But yeah, so that is called your precision grip. It's very important because then the tools we make become way more useful because we can do more with them.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
so walking, fire, very important. Standing up. Sorry,
important.
walking, standing up, walking, yeah. So hands free, tools, control fire, cook, eat lots of meat. I mean, or food.
And one of the biggest advantages for that when you're in a group is if you can live better, if you can protect yourself with the fire, you have more time.
Yeah.
So, and time is an amazing thing. Time, particularly when you're in a group, helps language develop. So when we were sort of evolving as humans, being able to use these tools to give ourselves the time to develop our brains, to think differently, to share and become creative, that's all thanks to things like fire. Because without that, we'd just be too busy running around with our stabby things, trying to stabby things to eat immediately,
Like
because we had to eat more of it.
And now we just sit around the fire. We can stay up. We don't have to go to bed right away.
Get a guitar, sing a
Invent
song.
the guitar. Yeah. Then tell stories and then language, which is super important as well. But that's another recent memory.
We'll talk
recent
about that in
history.
another one.
Cool.
Enjoy
That
that?
makes sense. So do humans come from apes?
no.
Well then.
Well, kind of.
They have a shared,
They have a shared they share.
share a granddad.
A few times
Yeah,
over.
great,
Times
great.
6 million years.
Ancestor.
So the grandpa's here, human ape here.
Yeah.
You're the same
and a
grandpa.
few more people, things in the way. That's awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much, Indi.
Thank you for coming on. Give yourself a little round of applause.
And a high five for me.
And a high five from me.
And thank you guys for listening and watching.
Thank you. Yes. See you again soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.